Kings, Edmonton. Edmonton Oilers minus 235. LA Kings plus 190. Total at 6.5. And I got to say, guys, I mean, everyone I talk to, everybody I see is saying, are you kidding me? Are you serious with this price of minus 235? What's going on here? I mean, Edmonton down 3-0, down 4-3. Hell, I fell asleep. I thought I lost my bet on Edmonton. They win 5-4 in overtime, and they're slapping down this minus 235 price tag. This LA team matches up very well defensively against Edmonton, and they've proven it time and time and time again. Even if you think Edmonton's going to win, Buster, I mean, how do you look at this minus 235? Even the regulation price isn't really a good one. So I'm curious, Buster, what do you think about this game tonight?
Yeah, you're right, Andrew. And you know what's really tough for LA? I mean, as you just mentioned, the way they lost that last game, and I speak about that all the time, is what happens last game. I mentioned that last week we were on here. I was mentioning what happened last game and why I was laying the chalk with those with Edmonton. I think last week it was Colorado and Dallas, because Dallas had lost that first game in overtime or double. Maybe it was double overtime. I'm not sure. Anyways. Yeah, again, what happened last game? So it's going to be tough for LA to get going early in this one. I can't lay 230. Like you said, these teams match up pretty good. Can't lay regulation. That's ridiculous. What I would suggest, because of what happened last game, is maybe Edmonton for the first period on the puck line. You're getting a nice little price there. I think it's one plus 120 or so. That might be the play there. This game, to me, is a game that I'll probably just watch. It's been a great series. Although I see now, it looks like I guess Campbell's going to get the start. And you know what? And maybe you guys can comment on this after. I wonder if LA will ever let Copley come into the net. I don't think Korpisalo, I mean, you have a 3-0 lead. You have that 4-3 lead. Some of those goals he's let in have been suspect. Yes, he has been solid. There's no doubt. But they've been suspect, just like Vasilevsky. You know, I mean, how bad has he played to lose that series for Tampa? But then again, he did win them a couple cups. So you lose a series, you win a couple cups. So I guess that all evens out. Again, too tough to bet Edmonton here. I'll tell you right now, everybody will probably lay that Edmonton in regulation, like you said, minus 150. That will be the play of everybody, the play of the square, which, as we talked last week on here, nothing wrong with that play like that of the square, because Joe Public has been winning a lot this year, as we have talked about. But the total is 6.5 over 20. Now, just... can we all trust Campbell? That's another reason why I can't bet Edmonton. Can you trust Campbell in net? I know he played very well last game. I couldn't trust him in net. I don't know I can trust LA to win this game because it's Edmonton. Edmonton, if the power plays. I think that's what it'll come down to. The whole special teams. Who stays out of the box will probably win this game. It's been proven. Edmonton is just deadly on the power play. So if they get in that box all the time, it's game over for LA. LA, if they can play discipline and play tough, this will be a really good game. But I think the play is to grab Edmonton in that first period.
All right, Buster looking at Edmonton to win the first period here in this one. And I like that play because they have not been looking good to start games. They've had to come back. They've had to have big second periods, big third periods. They want to get that first. And as far as the goaltending situation is concerned, I do agree that there's some of those goals were tough, but I think we could also argue Korpisalo has saved some big ones as well. I think they're going to ride or die with him, but looks like Jack Campbell most likely will be the starter. I'd probably list it around 70%. He has not been confirmed quite yet, but it will be quite the story to see him come in for Skinner. It's always interesting to me when you see that happen during a series like with Schmid for the Devils. Nobody expected him to come in, and of course he wins 2 games at MSG. So Jack Campbell comes in, could be a really good thing, could be a really bad thing for the Edmonton Oilers. Bryan, what's your take here on this one here, Edmonton and LA?
First of all, I'd like to thank Buster for the kind words he had for me. He talked about drinking lots of Pepsis. I don't remember any Pepsis. In fact, I don't remember a lot of anything out of that night other than our friend Marco D'Angelo, who doesn't drink. He's a foo-foo drinker, and we got him drunk. That was the most exciting part of that night, is to see Marco drunk. And drunk Marco is fun Marco. I enjoyed that. And that was one of my favorite nights that we all got together. And unfortunately, Caesars is cut back, and we can no longer get those free drinks in the Diamond Lounge. But I agree with a lot of what was said. Edmonton is the far more talented team, offensively at least. But the Kings just match up with them. Coming into the series, Edmonton was riding high. The Kings were basically backing into the series. And after watching these games, LA is just as good as Edmonton is. They match up very well with them. So I'm looking to play LA one way or another here. And if Edmonton does make that change at goalie, there's no way this should be a 235 favorite in this one, if you ask me. I'm looking to play LA. They've been finding ways to lose these close games, just like Tampa Bay has. So I'm looking at playing LA plus the goal and a half here. It's a total of 6.5. So the goals don't mean quite as much as they would in the 5.5 game that we saw earlier with Minnesota and Dallas. But LA's been right there with them, and we're getting them at a pretty good price here, plus the 1.5. That's the way I'm looking. If we do get the goalie announcement that the veteran will be in there, I even may take LA over team total. But LA's the only way I can look here. Edmonton, yes, they're the better team. Just like Toronto's the better team over Tampa. But certain times you just match up with another club and they have your number. And LA being in the same division for Edmonton, they play all the time. I can't lay 235 here. Give me Los Angeles minus the 1.5, and that's why I'm going to look at it right now. Plus the 1.5, excuse me.
Plus the 1.5. Yeah, I really like that, and I just think it's a really nice way of going about it, especially in a series like this that's gone to overtime in 3 of the 4 games, I believe. And Bryan, a lot of times I'm against the plus 1.5 wager in the playoffs because of the empty net goal factor, as we spoke about at the top of the show. Mostly in elimination games, so it doesn't really apply as much here. But in a series like this, like last game, I was on Edmonton. I laid like 155 or 160. And that's usually like right around my range as far as high as I'll go. But I'm happy I did, because if I would have had regulation, I would not have been a happy camper, seeing them. Like I said, I didn't even stay up for the game. I fell asleep, waking up to see them win that one in overtime. And to get the plus 1.5 here, I think is a really good wager to make. A little bit chalky, guys, but, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. That's kind of how I feel about the first period over in this series between LA and Edmonton. Same thing as Tampa Bay and Toronto. In the Toronto series, it's 4-0. I believe it's 3-1. In this series, it could be, I'll have to double check, but I think it's 3-1. And when I look at what the pace has been like out the gate, I don't think either team is going to change, how they're playing and the type of pace they're pushing. Nobody is dumping and chasing the puck in this series right now. Every single player is carrying the puck past the blue line. And when you do that, that creates more shots on net. It has more guys crash into the net for tips and deflections. And it really creates more opportunities, and it's kind of like you're not wasting as much time going to retrieve the puck if everybody is constantly holding on to the puck. And we're seeing a lot less of that in this series than we are in quite a bit of the other ones. As you guys know, in the playoffs, we see a lot more dump and chase. You want to dump the puck into a defenseman, wait till he gets in that corner, and hit him hard. We're not really seeing that here in this one. We're seeing guys carry the puck in, try and be fancy, try and make that nice play, and create chances. And of course, the power plays. As much as we can talk about this all day long here, about who's been favored, who's gotten screwed by the referees, when it comes down to it, there's been lots of power plays for both teams in this series, especially LA. And that makes me feel good about the over 1.5 in the first period. So it's a bit chalky, guys, but it's the playoffs. It's currently listed as minus 150, and I'll take that over here in the first period. I think this game could start very fast, and maybe it won't slow down. Maybe the full game goes over, but I will just take the first period over 1.5 here.